Episode five. Episode five. I really wanted this episode is really about why evolving through experience is so important. I know I said it pretty much every single episode. Since the get back. I said it even before when I first started with ET evolving through experience. And at the end of the day, it's like the more I experience, the more I realize and understand on different levels for the better of how important it is. So before I even get into it, I just want to start off by saying like, this is really life or death. And people may think that's saying that jokingly, but it really is. Like if you don't evolve your mind, your spirit, your mentality, it's like, bro, you're not gonna last. And I mean that from every aspect. Why you think we got people that's at several ages that don't like look forward to tomorrow? And it don't even have to be tomorrow, but you could just tell based on their energy and their spirits, like, yo, they don't like they have nothing to live for. Um, and at the end of the day, that's why it's so important because we got a younger generation. I'm young for one, and I'm proud to say that I started this, like I said, in 2018. I'm just now getting back with it and really staying consistent. At the end of the day, and time's going to tell. Time will tell. But at the end of the day, I started it back in 2018, and it's like I realized this then. This is when I first acknowledged it. I'm sure I seen the signs and the seeds were planted even before then, but this is when I started it because everything kind of came full circle. And at the end of the day, I'm trying to help others. First and foremost, we got to help ourselves. So that's why I started evolving through experience. Because if we don't start with ourselves, of course, we can't help others. But we have a younger generation of kids that's coming up that need this type of information, need this type of exposure, and to see the importance of evolving in every aspect because you don't want kids going from 1 to 10, from 10 to 15, from 15 to 20, and so on. And then before they look up and realize they're 40 and their mindset hasn't changed, their spirit hasn't evolved for the better. And at the end of the day, this is what I really, really do it for. And it's so important because again, I'm speaking from experience, of course, from my personal experiences, which I will be going more in detail through the podcast. But like I said, this is bigger than a brand. This is bigger than a podcast. This is bigger than a show. This is a purpose. And at the end of the day, I'm just here to rely that purpose on to others. You don't have to think how I think. You don't have to believe what I believe, and that's cool. I love when people don't believe and think how I think because then I can see it from your perspective, and then we could have a conversation and a dialogue so you can see it from my perspective. And at the end of the day, the goal is not to think like me. It's just to think, question things at the end of the day for the better, of course. And like I said, to ultimately continue evolving because it's a continuous process. And at the end of the day, right now, I would say something's not bothering me, but it's heavy on my mind. Um, and that's just the fact that I've been inspired by somebody that obviously multiple people I've been inspired by, but really since I can remember, like I was probably 13, 14 listening to this individual. And at the end of the day, it's like, unfortunately, I won't be able to meet him in this lifetime. Um, and it's something that always bothered me since it happened, of course. And this is also goes back before I even get into this, why I have to continue what I'm doing, right? Because this person has inspired me and planted seeds before I even realized how impactful these seeds were going to be as I went on. And like I said, this is from at least I was 13, 14, young, and I was in tune at this age to understand the importance of this individual and the impact he has had on my life, and continue to have on my life. So I'm going to get into this a little more on why this all relates to this person and why I have to continue evolving through experience and stay consistent. Honestly, this person man, anytime I think about them, I get chills. But at the same time, outside of chills, I'm inspired. This individual who I'm talking about today, that I have a great level of respect and inspired by, and so many other things that I can't even describe at the moment because it could really take me there. But at the end of the day, this person I'm talking about is Nipsey. Man, unfortunately, I won't be able to meet him in this lifetime. Um, and that's something that anytime I think about it, truly, truly bothers me. And I want to understand it, but at the same time, I also understand that everything's not meant to be understood. I think that later in life, some things can later on be understood at a later date. And I hope I find that date. At the end of the day, Nipsey, man, I wish I could put it into words. There's so many things I can say on so many different levels. And at the end of the day, there's no diss to nobody, but a lot of people wasn't listening to Nipsey prior to his transition. But at the end of the day, that doesn't. I don't think that means you all can't be impact by him and his legacy. But like I said, I'm saying this because I was a true Nipsey Hussle fan. Like at the end of the day, I was listening to Nipsey since I was like 13, 14, and I could prove that. Literally, I think my brother, like, I think he probably planted the seed because I think he was listening to Nipsey and we riding around in the car. He was in college or whatever. He had a car at the time, so I'm listening. Like, this is what he playing. Like, I at the time we listen to other music. Most kids my age listen to other music, but this is also why I could say my name is Equity D. Um, but I'll go into that on another episode. But yo, why I gotta continue evolving through experience is because one, it truly aligns with what Nipsey was doing with the marathon. Of course, it's not about now; it's about continuing. It's about looking at the long haul with the ups and downs in the middle. But it's a marathon. It's not a race. It's a marathon. And evolving through experience is really so much of the same thing. Obviously, we're not going the exact same route, but it still aligns very, very closely with what he was doing. And at the time when I did start this, like I said, in 2018, when I was heavy, and then looking back, even over the course of time, it's like I see the alignment because evolving through experience, like Nipsey was talking about it in his music in so many different aspects, of course. And I always listened to him. I always posted his music. I used to tag him. And one day, I'm thinking, I don't want, I'm not sure on this, and I'm going to actually go back and check now that I think about it. But I know one day he followed me. And at the end of the day, he didn't follow the Evolve Through Experience page, but he followed my personal page. And I used to pretty much see the alignment. And I think sometimes I used to tag Evolving Through Experience. I'm not sure. And I believe that he's seen maybe a glimpse of what I'm doing. I could be wrong, but I'd rather not be wrong. But at the end of the day, he had to see something from what I was posting, because it wasn't just normal posts. It's like I'm talking about down past the lyrics, like something I can't even explain. But at the end of the day, yo, I will never be able to put into words how much he inspired me. And I'm so thankful that he followed me. And I think I'm going to live with that because I feel like as of right now, that's the closest thing I have, just to understand how important this was, because he truly inspired on a whole nother level that I can't even describe at this exact moment. And it's so vital to me. And I could talk about this for days and days, honestly, because I cried when Nip passed, man. I honestly did. I ain't have no shame in it. And I say that 1,000 times over. I have no shame in that. Literally. Nip inspired. And I think we got to get to a point where people got to understand it's okay to cry, especially males, and share our emotions. But if somebody inspire you, you can let that be known. So to this day, like I said, I'm evolving, of course. This is something that continuously has bothered me. But on the bright side and a positive side, I'm not saying, of course, that wasn't bright or positive, because I mean, it's okay to have emotions and realize and acknowledge your feelings, and especially as males. But we're gonna definitely get into it all as we can progress with evolving through experience. But as far as knowing that he followed me, I truly believe, and obviously still follows me on my personal Instagram page to this day. I truly believe that he understood the impact that he personally seen me to some degree making at the time, or he realized what I was doing, um, to some degree or whatever, and followed me because, like I said, I used to always post his stuff. um, Nip also, I used to save a lot of his posts because he also is educating on his Instagram. Well, obviously that goes without saying through his music as well. This was when I first was like trying to understand cryptocurrency. I remember one post he made. I don't remember exactly when. I have to go back in my archives, but I saved it because he posted something. He was like, "Don't let them tell you this is not real. Don't let them trick you." And I saved it, and then I started checking it out and doing my own research. But it's like he sparked that inside of me to like, yo, like, what is this new thing he's talking about? And I'm just screenshotting. I'm seeing like XRP. I don't even remember, but I think XRP was on there. And I was just like, yo, like, no, I was thankful for that. So during that time, from obviously before he passed, I was trying to prepare a letter. I just wanted to express the gratitude and appreciation I had and level of inspiration because it's unmatched. I still have this letter, and I beat myself up about it because one, I never sent a letter. I never sent a letter because I always felt like I didn't want to write a whole book, but at the same time, I wanted to choose my words carefully. And I felt like every time I would redo it or add to it, subtract, I never felt like it was good enough to really express it. And honestly, truth be told, I don't think I ever will be, but at the same time, I think it's possible. But as of right now, I still can't figure out how to express in words, in writing, to the level of magnitude he has had on me, and just my journey from first listening to him, from him planting the seeds in his music and me just digesting as a young kid, as a preteen, as a teenager. And at the end of the day, it's like that's something that I still want to figure out. I have it saved because I have the exact date that I had when the last time I edited and I saved it. And this was, like I said, prior to his passing. I think it was maybe a year before his passing. I'm not sure exactly. I have to double check, but I know it was prior to his passing. I was like, yo, like I got to get this letter right because, and then I wanted to ship him some of the products on Evolving Through Experience, like some exclusive stuff, like an exclusive hat, all that, because I just wanted him to know the level of magnitude he has had. Unfortunately, I don't have the opportunity no more. Unfortunately, I should have sent it hoping that it reached him or not, but unfortunately, I still don't have that opportunity. And like I said, I beat myself up about it because like I wanted to find the perfect words to truly express the meaning and inspiration he's had on me. And those are the two biggest things that like I said bother me. Knowing that I never sent the letter, trying to figure it out. But at the same time, I'm thankful that he followed me on Instagram. And to this day, I won't never delete my Instagram because of that. Um, because like I said, like I wanted to delete Instagram because social media and evolving through social media, that's a whole nother podcast that we're gonna have to get into because social media could definitely be toxic. It could be draining. But at the end of the day, all the times I wanted to delete it, I said I never can now. Cause that was like it may not be big to some people, but when you are inspired by somebody that's not necessarily out of touch, but that you can't necessarily just call at the time and moment, it's like, yo, that's huge. For real, for real. Understand the impact or the level of importance that I've just spoke on and the inspiration that was behind it. And that's okay. I'm cool with everybody not understanding that, because I know a few that do. And the ones that do, I appreciate you all. I appreciate everybody, but it just hit different. And it's hit different in words that I can't even describe. So yeah, it's unfortunate. Rest in peace, Nip. Um, Definitely still inspired. And overall, this is why, being that I can't necessarily meet him in the flesh and in this lifetime, is still impactful. And the level of, like I said, just level of respect and inspiration. It's like, yo, I have to continue this, because it aligned a lot with what he was doing. And this is for everybody, of course, but especially the younger generation, because I started this, like I said, young. These seeds were planted young, and I know the impact that it had on me at a very young age, and the things that I've experienced in my lifetime. And I know it's other things that I haven't experienced that others have, but a lot of stuff that's going to be shared on this purpose is going to be vital for people from all aspects of life, all hues of life. And they need to hear what I'll be sharing. They need to hear stories from what others will be sharing on this platform, because it's so vital. And like I said, from the beginning of this episode, this is really life or death. And I don't say that lightly. When I say that, it gives me chills, because I could personally think about my personal experiences. I could think about experiences of others that I personally know. And I could think about of experiences of people I don't know, that I know of, that I've seen. So it's important that we evolve on a continuous level. It's important that we continue evolving, because if we don't, we're going to realize we don't have to be in a grave to be dead. And unfortunately, it's so many people that's already there, that's transitioned to literal death. It's so many people that headed there, but we're trying to put them on a new path. We're trying to put them in a new route before it's too late. And especially for the younger generation, because I'm grateful for all of my experiences, good, bad, ugly, beautiful, because without them, I wouldn't be who I am today and who I'm ultimately destined to be. So I have to put this out. We have to do our part, and I'm going to make sure I do my part by continuing to evolve myself as an individual first and foremost, and then help others, because like I said, this is for everybody, but especially the younger generation, because if the foundation is messed up, the foundation of anything, everything else could look good. It could go as high as we want, but it won't last. It won't go as high as it needs to be. Truth be told, it won't go as high as it needs to be, because the foundation is not there. So all those for everybody. And yes, you can go back and fix the foundation. It may take more work. It may take a lot of work, but it's still possible. So we're doing this. I'm doing this. Evolving through experiences bigger than me. And like I said, it's about the past generation. Well, it is about the past generation, but it's about the younger generation, because we got to help them evolve on a continuous level, as well as adults. And the only reason I keep saying especially the younger generation, because this is from my experience. I'm a young individual. I started this younger, and I seen it then. And truth be told, the world has only got more crazy. So I understand why we need it, especially when there's no other outlet or no other platform that's speaking to everybody, but especially the younger generation in our world. So again, thank y'all. Evolving through experience. Appreciating what we've been putting out so far. You're definitely going to appreciate what we continue to put out. And I say that, and I don't say that in a harsh, in a bad way at any means. I say that in a positive positive light, because like I said, this is life or death. So if y'all been rocking with us, been rocking with Evolve Through Experience, whether you just found out about us or you knew about us from when we first started, continue to share our stuff. Continue to follow us on all platforms, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever you can. Definitely feel free, and please make sure to tell a friend. Share our podcast on all platforms. We're on Spotify, of course. We're on Apple Music. Share it, like it, tell a friend, like I said. And honestly, feel free to share feedback. Feel free to DM us. Feel free to DM me. If we've been making anything I've said so far has resonated with you in any way, whether you agree or even disagree, that's okay. Because we could definitely have a dialogue about it in a positive way, of course, in order to grow for the better. So, like I said, please just make sure, follow, share, and catch us on episode next. Evolve Through Experience.